Yes, it is new. We just inaugurated this center last year in October. Of course, it's been an ongoing project since the last 2 years, actually. But it came into physical reality only last year in October because there's been a lot of work behind what we do. So just to give you a brief background about Naveda, first of all, I'm Vinod Sharma. If you don't know me, ready? So I'm the founder director of this Integral Wellness Center. And this whole Integral Wellness Center concept came through a journey that I went through myself. So about 6 years ago, I had lost almost 70% of my hair in almost a span of a month's time. And it was then that I started realizing the importance of everything that we need to take care of. You know, the kind of food that we eat, the kind of products that we use that really impact your health and well-being. So, of course, I had lost my hair to various different reasons, from not taking care of it, not caring about it, using all the wrong products, full of chemicals. I've been a vegetarian since I was a child. For me, the concept of being a vegetarian only meant like as long as I'm not killing anything, I'm not harming anyone, as long as I'm eating food, but whether it's pastas, pizzas, everything. I had no concept of nutrition, how to sort of really give your body the full nutrition that it requires. So when we tend to become vegetarians, that's a thing. It's like, yes, we think that, as long as we stop eating meat and seafood and all that, that's fine. But that's wrong, actually. We are not healthy unless we know how to eat a complete nutritional meal. Be it vegetarian or vegetarian, we have to know how to. For myself, and then I saw a lot of people take interest in it and wanted to learn about how I was able to recover so fast. In fact, it was just not general hair loss. I was suffering from an autoimmune disease called alopecia. So alopecia, where you get these patches that develop on your scalp. In Indian it's called chorban. Majority of you are in India. So if you do not take care of it, it can actually spread all around your body and it eats away all the hair from your eyebrows to the eyelashes, from all over your body, and then it's very, very difficult to recover from that situation. Okay, so if you catch it at the right time, it's good. So anyway, so from then onwards, I became a hair specialist. I trained myself in India, and I opened up a franchise in Hong Kong, a doctor's franchise, and then I started off this tiny little room. This was not my space at all, and there I started helping people and consulting with them, and it really has helped so many people. It's been almost 5 years I've been doing this. So I'm a hair loss and a yoga and a nutritional specialist. So my concept that was very, very small, where I was just taking care of people's hair. 2 years ago, I met a wonderful mentor who actually broadened my vision and said, yes, you can take care of people's hair, but if you're not telling them about what's going on in their food, what's going on in their skincare, what's happening in other areas of their life, if you're still not helping them in a very integral manner, you're not helping them holistically, but you should also think about what are you doing to harm the environment? What are you doing to sort of help the poor people? Are you really integrating that as part of your business model? If you do not know, then you're still not helping people. So I broadened my vision because of his inspiration. That's where Naveda was born, where we brought in everything natural, based on, it's a value-based lifestyle based on the Vedas. A lot of people talk about Ayurveda, but it's not just Ayurveda, right? So we have four Vedas. So if you look at my light boxes up there, we have four Vedas right up there, and they have lots of teachings. If you actually study it, go through it, which I still have to also myself, it teaches you complete way of living. your life. So that's where Naveda came through. And of course, making sure that when we have a slogan, which is live your life Naveda way, 100% safe, 100% natural, right? So when we say 100% safe, 100% natural, is that Naveda has invested a lot of time, effort, and money in making sure that everything that we bring in over here is non-toxic, it's quality controlled, it's highly audited, it's not, it is safe for you to sort of put into your body and it's not going to harm you. So a lot of us, we tend to go out commercially, buy any products, buy any shampoos, buy any food, but none of us actually, very few of us actually are very conscious about um, reading the labels, understanding nutritional labels. What are the ingredients behind it? So anything just says natural, we tend to kind of believe it. Or even if people are advertising, companies are advertising, they never really tell you what are the harmful ingredients in there. They'll just highlight something natural or something organic in it, right? So this is where Naveda has really taken the initiative to step up and do the hard work to make sure that there are no harmful ingredients in the products that we have here. And not only that, but to provide a platform to empower and educate people to do the same thing. So that whether you're purchasing something from here or you're buying from anywhere, we want you to become conscious as consumers. So that is why we keep having these educational programs by inviting our in-house practitioners to come in and share their knowledge, empower you, educate you, so that you become a better consumer. You become a conscious consumer. All right. So today we have our in-house Ayurvedic expert who's been in Hong Kong for the past, I think he's been practicing for the past 30 years, if I'm not mistaken.
I've been here for 30 years, but full time I've been practicing for
25 years. Yeah. So nowadays, as you know, that Ayurveda has become, a hot topic as well, especially after Corona. It seems like a lot more people are interested in Indian spices, Indian herbs. Turmeric, has become a very hot topic as well. So everyone is thinking, well, we've been having turmeric for all our lives. But really, that's not turmeric that is therapeutic. That's just food grade, right? And is that toxic, non-toxic? Have you thought about it? So these are the things that you want to start learning about. Okay, just to give you a brief background of Vinodji, he's born in India into a Brahmin family, and he comes from a lineage of priests and healers. He's well versed in the ancient medical science of Ayurveda, particularly in the art of pulse reading, Ayurvedic Panchkarma, which is the rejuvenating therapies, chakra healing, yoga, homeopathy, biochemic remedies, and reflexologies. He's also a Reiki Grandmaster, has an exceptional understanding of the human energy field. He has traveled worldwide, conducting many seminars and workshops, and helped lots of people from all walks of life, whether from infants to as old as 8 years old as well. So without further ado, I would give the floor to Vinod.
Thank you. So good evening, everybody. Namaste. I'm happy to see good crowd today, Friday evening. And in one way, this lockdown and social distancing has been a blessing in disguise. It has allowed many people to reflect on their life. Otherwise, we get caught up with so many different things, external things. We don't have time to look within us, right? So from that perspective, it has been a blessing in disguise. Many of you might have heard about Ayurveda. Yes. If you can, I just want to make it with interactive instead of only me talking and you just listening. What is your understanding about the term Ayurveda? If anybody wants to share, like to share, what does it mean to you? Ancient herbal treatment. Yes. Yes. What else? Everybody see? See, the term is Ayurveda, combination of two scientific I will give you a little bit of background so that when we talk more about the today's topic about nervous system, then you will have proper understanding, better understanding about what Ayurveda has to say about it. Right? So combination of two words, Ayur and Veda. Ayur means life and Veda means sorry. Yeah, what does it mean? Knowledge. Knowledge, wisdom, or science. So this is the title itself is very interesting. It's called Science of Life, not medical science. Conventional medical system is called medical science. Ayurveda we call Science of Life. That means if anybody has any problem with regard to any aspect of life, if Ayurvedic principles are applied, then those Ayurvedic principles can help us to resolve those problems. Right? Of course, we use herbal medicines, herbal remedies, but usage of remedies is very limited. When somebody has any problem, sickness, any illness, to speed up the recovery process, some herbal remedies are recommended. But once recovery is achieved, then to maintain health, it is not necessary to take medicines. Medicines are not necessary to maintain our health. Do you agree with that or not? Yes? So what Ayurveda says that absence of medicines, not taking medicines, does not cause any sickness. Have you heard anybody saying, I'm feeling headache, I'm having headache today because I did not take painkiller today? Does anyone say like that? No, right? So, not taking painkiller does not cause headache. So when we have headache, why do we take painkiller? Sorry? Now, absence of painkiller is not causing headache. Then why do we supply painkiller to correct the headache, to cure the headache? Sorry? Habit. Our conditioning is like that. We are brought up in the society, that environment is that way. If you have any problem, just take medicine. Correct? Absence of medicine is not causing any problem. Then why do we supply medicines to the system? Why can't we follow the principle of Ayurveda to find the root cause of the problem? By taking medicines, sometimes, if not always, sometimes the symptoms of the problem can be subsided, but the root cause is not removed. That's why the problem keeps on recurring. Am I right or not? Right? Yes, it's temporary solution. Don't get me wrong. I'm not against modern medical science. It has its own place in our modern society. In acute cases, these medicines are useful. But when there are chronic problems, when the problem has been developing in the system for a very long time, to eradicate that chronic problem, Ayurvedic principles can be more effective. Right? So we need to combine. We need to take the best of both sciences. We should not neglect anything. So this is the science of life. Correct? Now, the whole science is based on functioning of the 5 elements. Do you know the 5 elements? Okay, one by one. Air, earth, water, fire, sky, space. Correct? So these are the 5 elements. Now, in Ayurveda, we combine these 5 elements and put them into 3 categories. And these 3 categories are called 3 doshas. Vata, Pitta, Kapha. Correct? Today's topic, I will explain to you which dosha is kind of more responsible for that. So these are called 3 dosha.
Dosha means pop.
Sorry?
Dosha means pop. Dosha
means drawbacks, weaknesses, faults. Yes. So we are combination of all 3. Now see, our life begins with dosha. Our life begins with faults. Then these faults keep on multiplying. If we don't take care of the basic faults, then the faults will keep on multiplying. So we are combination of all 3. I will not go in detail. I will come to the point directly now regarding the nervous system. What is your understanding about nervous system? In common day-to-day life also, we use this word a lot. I feel nervous, or that person felt nervous, became nervous. What does it mean? I just went through some symptoms you can fill up in the form. Those are the symptoms caused by the some kind of weaknesses or imbalance of the nervous system. But what does it mean by nervousness? Why do we talk about, very commonly we use that word. I feel very nervous.
Yes, because when you're depressed or there's a lot of anxiety or stress, you use this word that you're nervous.
So these are the different symptoms: anxiety, depressed feeling. So these are caused due to the weakness of the nervous system. But commonly we say, I feel nervous. Now, happiness also is the expression caused by nervous system. But we never say that. When we are happy, we never say that I'm nervous. But the negative symptoms, what we have, negative feelings, then we say I'm nervous. But nervousness is responsible for both positive and negative emotions, expressions. So again, in Ayurveda, a very elaborate explanation is given about nervous system. Which body part can relate to the nervous system? Brain. You are absolutely right. That is relating to the central nervous system. So we'll focus on that central nervous system, the brain and the spinal cord. So in yoga also, the exercises, the postures, asanas, which affect directly the spinal cord, those postures, those exercises, those asanas can be very helpful to strengthen the nervous system. It is very important to take care of the spine if we want to make our nervous system very healthy, very strong. If our spine is not healthy, our nervous system cannot. That's why keeping the back straight posture while sitting or standing is very, very important. And you can see that people who slouch unknowingly, unintentionally when they're sitting and the back is weak, such people they will lack confidence. They will get nervous very easily. Right? Am I right or wrong? Is everybody here?
Yes.
I hope nobody's nervous now.
We have with the doctor, so
Sorry?
nobody's nervous, I think.
Very good. So the nervous system, which we talked just now, mainly the parts which are affecting our nervous system is our spine and the brain. Correct? The spinal cord, which is connected with the brain. Now that spinal cord, around that spinal cord, there are so many nerves. Actually, the Sanskrit term we call it nadis. Have you heard of that word nadis? What does it mean by nadis? Veins are the physical term. Nadis are very subtle energy channels. Right? Anybody knows? Anybody does yoga here? Anybody is familiar with yoga? Yes. Can you tell me how many nadis are there? Any guess? 210. Who said 210? 210 only. Anyone? Anyone else? You said you also do practice yoga? Yes. Used to. So did you learn about nadis? How many nadis we have in our system? Sorry? I will give you a very precise number. See, from this you can understand our ancient science is so specific, so precise. There is no guesswork. Be precise, be accurate. When you are more precise, more specific, more accurate, then your approach can be more effective. If it's a guesswork, then it may work, it may not work. Correct? So now it will be of your surprise, when I write the number. The steam. How many? 7,272,210, not only 210. Very precise number, 7,272,210. Out of which 72,000, very important, very significant. Again, out of 72,000, 14 are more important. Out of 14, 10. And out of 10, 3 are very, very important. You might have heard the words three nadis, Ida, Pingla, and Sushumna. How many of you are familiar with these words? No? Never heard. So today you have heard it. Ida, Pingla, and Sushumna. Now, Ida and Pingla, they are on the both sides of the spinal cord. They go intersecting each other, and in the middle is the Sushumna, which passes through the spinal cord. And that is the most important. Sushumna. The whole purpose of yoga practice is to allow the prana, the life force, to flow to the Sushumna, the spinal cord. Now, Ida, which is directly connected with the moon, and Pingla is connected with the sun, feminine and masculine energy. Yin and yang, we call it, right? And in the middle is the neutral one. How many of you have noticed when you're breathing in and out, the force of air which comes out from your nose, from the nostrils, is not equal. One nostril, from one nostril, the force may be more than the other nostril. It keeps on changing. Have you noticed that? Why does it happen? Why does it happen? One is that why does it happen, and can we control it? Can we change it? We can change it? How? So at least we know that we can change it.
Can we change it with breathing exercise? Is it?
Not so much with the breathing. Yes, breathing exercises also we can change when we have more control on the pranavayu. You know, there are different types of air in the body. So when we have more control on the pranavayu, which allows us to breathe in and out, which controls the functioning of our lungs and heart, when we gain control on that, then it is possible, but otherwise no. But there are other methods which can help us to control it. Now I read one of the forms mentioned about, somebody has some blood pressure. These kind of symptoms, these kind of illnesses we can call, they are actually increasing in the society. Now see the irony. The number of hospitals, number of doctors, number of medicines are increasing day by day. So if we apply a logic, when the number of doctors, medicines, hospitals are increasing, then the number of diseases and sicknesses should be less. But they are also multiplying. Right? That means something is missing here. Something is what we are not doing in life. That means medicines are not helping us. To be healthy, medicines are not helping us. Yes, medicines, modern medicines can help us to prolong the span of life. But if we want to improve the quality of life, medicines are not helping us. Correct me if I'm wrong.
No, it's true.
Now, you are not forced to agree whatever I say. If you have any objection, please raise your hand. Sorry?
Without fear.
Without? Yes. Without fear, yes. Yes? So, we need to find that part, which is missing, which is not helping us to improve the quality of our life. Span of life increases, no doubt about it. But quality of life is long life is not so much important. Life can be short, but the quality of it is good and is worth it. And such people's lives, such people's activities can be remembered after they leave. Otherwise, so many people will live a very long life. Why am I saying that? The objective of Ayurveda is that to improve the quality of life. It is science of life. Can anyone define life here? What is the definition of life?
Definition of life is when you're born and the reality is when you die. In between that is life.
Very true. Very true.
That's the experience.
Yes. The span of time, the duration of life, between birth and death. That's life. Ayurveda defines that life also in more logical and more precise way. It says there are 6 components involved. Only breathing in and out is not life. Functioning of heartbeats going on. That's not life. That's symptom of life. Right? So the 6 factors which are involved. Our spirit soul. How many of you are familiar with the concept of spirit soul? We have a spirit soul. Right? Is everybody agreeable? Right?
Yes,
Right?
no, we cannot be alive.
Yes. We are not only this body. Right? See, when we speak, we say, this is my hand. This is my head. My chest, my body. That means I, somebody else than this body. Correct? The person who is possessing this body is somebody else, not the body itself. That's why we say this is my hand, my head, my body. So that I, somebody else. And that's the spirit soul. Correct? So, spirit soul. Then our ego, which causes us to identify ourselves with this body. Ego. Then our intelligence, intellect, which gives us the reasoning power to make decisions. Correct? Then our mind. Then our senses of perception, sense of smell, sense of touch, sense of hearing, senses of perception, and then senses of action, our limbs. So when these 6 components work together in a harmonious way, so for the duration of time for which they work together, that duration of time is called life. Now sometimes we see people when they have some physical problem, physical weakness, they cannot move their limbs on their own. They need some help. Or at intellectual level, sometimes when they are really sick, they cannot recognize their family members, their friends, they cannot relate to them. So that means something is missing out of these 6 components. As far as the apparent symptoms of life are concerned, the person is alive. Lungs are breathing in and out, heart is beating, blood circulation is happening, other organs in the body also may be working. But if something is missing out of these 6 components, life becomes incomplete. So when the life is incomplete, that person becomes a liability, a burden on the society. Somebody else has to take care of that person. Correct? So Ayurveda teaches us the objective of Ayurveda is to educate people, to give them enough knowledge so that they can take care of their health and make their life complete. When the life is complete, you become an asset for the society. You can contribute something. So that's the objective of Ayurveda. So people, we should know about our own self, what's happening. For many people, you said that ignorance is bliss. Yes, it can be bliss, but for a short period. Awareness can make us blissful for a long time. Awareness has to be there, the knowledge has to be there. Yes? So these nadis, they spread all around on the spinal cord. So the nervous system, very briefly, I will touch to this point. What is the function of the nervous system? To gather the information from outside, send it to the brain, then analyze it, and then what kind of response is to be given, send that message to the nervous system, to different limbs, to the body, different parts of the body. And according to that, the person acts. Now, unfortunately, what is happening nowadays with most of us, maybe not with all of us, but with most of us. In most of the situations, we don't respond. Sorry? We react. Very impulsively we react. Because there is no connection between our nervous system and the brain, between our spine and the brain. No connection. And between the motor organs and the brain. What kind of message the brain is sending, motor organs don't get it in a timely manner. Then our response is delayed. And then we react immediately. So when we react, then the consequences, the result of the reaction will not be always good. Then we regret. Right? Many times impulsively we do something, we say something, and we regret, and then we say sorry. Actually, I didn't mean that. So what is our intention? What do we mean by that action? It doesn't matter to the person who is at the receiving end. It may matter to us, but the person, let's say, Why should I care? What was your intention? But your action is showing something else. Right? Many times, most of you are Indians. It's very common amongst the Indian community. You know, they say that when the person is saying something which is not appropriate, not suitable, they say actually his heart is pure. You know, only he speaks like that. How many of you have heard that? Huh? Very, very commonly it is said that, right? His heart, there is nothing bad in his heart. Correct?
He's a nice fellow.
He's a nice fellow. But if you go at the deeper level, whatever our physical body does, actions we take from physical body, first it comes in the thought process. Correct? And thought process start at the mental level. Where is our mind? Where is our mind?
Wandering around.
Sorry?
Wandering around.
I'm not talking that way. Within our body, where is our mind? Anybody? Where is our mind? How many of you agree mind is here? You say no. Why? Where is it there? Where is it?
Mind is here.
Now different people but you have different answers.
It is here.
See, when we have any argument, heated argument with somebody. So one person, says, tells the other person, "Are you out of your mind?" Right? Normally, that's the way people do that. But actually, the person who is asking the other person, "Are you out of your mind?" Actually, that person himself is out of his mind, because mind is not here. Here is the brain, the physical organ. The mind is here. You're right. The heart region, the chest region. So, when our heart is not pure, when the mind decides, our thought process cannot be pure. When our thought process is not pure, our actions cannot be pure. So, what happens, that cognitive, how many of you have heard about cognitive memory? Cognitive memory. It is based on our previous experience, impressions which are built up in our heart, in our mind. That kind of, then according to that we act based on our previous experience. So that is cognitive memory. Right? So when we talk something inappropriate, nonsense, it is based on our cognitive memory.
It's the previous impressions in the mind.
Yes. Samskaras we call it.
Yeah.
Right? So based on that, we speak, based on that we behave. So it is wrong to say that person is not bad. Only he speaks like that. Because he's bad, that's why he's speaking like that. Right? So coming back to the nadis and the nervous system. So nadis, they receive the information from actions of other people, from surroundings. And then analyzed by the brain, in what kind of response it will give. That response again is spread. Now response also, to which part of the body the response is to be given. To articulation, through our using our tongue, or through the limbs, through our actions. So that is also the message is sent by these nadis, different parts of the body, and then the person responds. Correct? Now what happens when the nervous system becomes weak? From the Ayurvedic perspective, the doshas, we talked about the doshas. The main dosha, which is responsible, which has direct effect on our nadis, is vata. Vata dosha. Air, mainly air. So when that vata dosha is disturbed, it affects our nervous system. I'll give you a practical example how these work. Supposing we take a balloon, we blow air in the balloon. When the air is filled completely according to the size of the balloon, then the balloon can become very hard. Normally it is soft, but when the air is filled completely in that inside, then that same soft balloon can become very hard. quality changes. Right? So when the Vata dosha is very strong within our system, our confidence level can be quite good, or willpower can be quite strong. These outside factors cannot shatter us much, cannot affect us. But when the same Vata is disturbed, it's not in right proportion, we shrink, our body shrinks. See the symptoms. When we are anxious, we feel depressed, we feel worried, our body shrinks. Am I right or not? Right? And when we are happy, we feel that our body has, the size has increased. Like that's why in Indian language we say, मुझे इतनी खुशी कि मैं अब कपड़ों में नहीं समा रहा, right? That means my clothes became very tight. So that's the effect of the air, Vata. According to Ayurveda, this dosha is called is a transporter. Any kind of movement which happens within our body is caused by Vata. Okay. That means receiving information from outside to the nerves, to the nadis, and then transporting that message to the brain. And the brain analyzes, then according to that, the response is sent back by the brain to the nadis, different parts of the body. So the transporting system, whatever happens, the movement happens in our body, is caused by Vata. Any kind of movement, whether it's at the subtle level, that means the thought process, or physical level. Now, Vata is responsible to make people very active. At the same time, paralysis also is caused by Vata disorder. Extreme. People can become very hyper and completely collapse due to the Vata disorder. So this is the main culprit. And according to Ayurveda, it said that, we talk about one's constitution. Have you heard about this word? One's constitution? In Ayurveda, we talk about it. Each individual has unique constitution. And that constitution we get from our parents at the time of conception. Like Vata, Pitta, Kapha, which category a person belongs to, only 3 broad categories are there. And from a combination may differ from person to person. So broadly these 3 categories. So now which category we belong to, that is very important. If we know that, then according to that, we know how to balance the other 2 doshas. If somebody has Vata predominant, that means the body is really dry, mind is unstable, cannot relax. So that person, it starts consuming the food items which can increase the earth element in the body, specify the air. Then he can be more grounded, he can feel more grounded, not so anxious. So this is very important to find out what is our constitution. One of the main causes of sickness, it is said in Ayurveda that most of the human beings, they don't know who they are. We don't know what we are. What kind of constitution do we have? We don't know that. We know the constitution of Hong Kong, right? And that's why so many people are protesting now because of this Article 23, right? Because they know about the basic law and all that. So constitution of this city we know. But our soul is residing in this body. We don't know our own constitution. And this is our human nature, right? Our energy is scattered so much outward, outside, not within. We are not focused what is happening within us. And that's why we are the problems. So Charak Samhita, I mentioned that one of the main reasons for sickness of the human society, and most of the human beings, they don't know who they are. And once we know what kind of constitution we have, then it becomes easier to deal with the problems. So, Vata disorder, it is said, even if you don't know your constitution, if you are able to regulate the air circulation in the body, many of the problems can be solved. Many of the problems. In our day-to-day life also, if we manage this Vata dosha very well, then many of the problems which are already happening, they can be corrected. And the tendencies what we have of having those problems in future, those future tendencies can be prevented. The science is very interesting and very simple. It's not so complex. Only the basic thing, if we grasp that basic information, then it becomes easier. Like in the education system, we say if somebody wants to learn mathematics, basic thing is that the person needs to learn the numbers from 1 to 10. Then rest of the numbers can be easily, because it's all multiplication, addition of those basic numbers from 1 to 10. So if this basic information we have from Ayurveda, what is our constitution? Who am I? What are the elements ruling my body, my mind? And if we know that basic thing, then the other things can be easier to deal with. Right? So what are disorder we need to correct? Now, to strengthen the nervous system, what kind of food we should have so that the water, the air, does not go out of balance? I'll give you an example that which kind of food items, what kind of food items can increase air element in the body. Basically, the food items which are dry in nature. Nuts, lentils, pulses, right? Which are dry in nature. So they increase air element in the body. Now, how to counteract? What kind of food items we should supply to the body so that the dryness can be reduced? Anyone?
I cannot avoid nuts at all. That's my morning breakfast. 365 days. So how do I avoid that?
I'm not telling you to avoid.
No, how do I supplement with another thing?
See, if your constitution is such, which can tolerate that amount of nuts what you're having, and does not cause you to become nuts, then you're fine.
Yeah.
Then you're
It
fine.
doesn't cause me to get.
Then you're fine. So again, I'm telling you that because now this gentleman is eating nuts. Now, if somebody imitates seeing him, because it is helping him, and if somebody's predominant element is vata, and that person starts consuming the same way what he's doing it will not suit that person. So we should not follow blindly, what the other person is doing. It may be suitable for that person, right? But if it is not suitable for us, then we should not do it. Each individual is unique.
This happens really in our daily life. But you see that we just follow like he's doing this one, he's doing this one, we just follow like
And this also is a human nature, We become free advisors to others. We solicit advice, free advice. It helped me, it will help you also. Just take it, don't worry. And we follow blindly also. We don't see, that it suited that other person. Some time ago, if you recall, it was around 2004, 2005. South Beach diet became very popular. Have you heard of this? South Beach diet. It became very popular, particularly in the US, and many people from Hankow who traveled to US and they learned. They started following that. How many of you have heard this? You heard it? South Beach diet. Actually, that came from the South Beach part of the US. Now, if we apply in Hong Kong, will it work? No, right? To be more precise, what they were doing that, what I heard from my clients, they used to eat only meat, that also chicken, and that also white meat. That was South Beach diet. So I met few clients who are following that, and they ended up having problems. So how can you apply? This is called fallacy of generalization. We cannot generalize things. Again, I would say, that what helps, like nuts help you, those nuts may not help your other family members. So we should not just follow blindly. Each individual is unique, and each individual's needs and necessities are also precise, different. So we need to understand that. So coming back to this, so it is said that even if you do not know about your constitution, don't worry about that. Learn how to control this air element. If you are able to manage this air element, it will become very productive. It will help you to be active at the right time. And whenever you have to be passive, it can help you to be passive also. Like for example, one type of air which circulates around the throat and above the throat region is called Udana Vayu, one type of air. There are 10 different types of air in our body, according to Ayurveda. So one type of air which circulates around the throat and above the throat region, that helps us to express our views, our emotions, our thoughts through articulation and through gestures. Now, when that air circulation doesn't circulate very well, or it is too forceful, sometimes in certain situations in our social life, we should not say something. At intellectual level, we may understand that we should not say that thing to that person, but we cannot control. How many of you experienced that situation in your life? You realize, you understand that you should not speak now, but you cannot control. Speak. And after that, you say sorry. It came out from my mind, came from my mouth. Many times it happens. So when the force of that air, Udana Vayu, is too strong, in spite of having that intention of controlling our words, our speech, we cannot control. And the other situation, extreme situation, in some kind of situations, we feel like saying something, but some kind of force is that which holds us back. And after the event, we become wiser. Oh, I should have said like this. And next time it happens, I will say like that. Have you experienced these kind of situations? Right? So these kind of situations arise when the Udana Vayu around the throat region is not circulating. When it is in the balanced proportion, it's circulating very regularly. Oxygen supply to the brain is proper, neurotransmitters are functioning very well. Then the message sent by the brain to the motor organs to the tongue also will be proper. And then we will be able to express ourselves in proper, appropriate manner, in a timely manner. This is one type of air I'm talking about. So you can imagine that if we learn the functions, the influence, the effects of rest of the 9 types of air in our body, and then learn how to manage how much balance our life can become. Right? Are you agreeable to that or not?
Yes, then how do you manage the air?
Yes, see, as I mentioned, air is counteracted by earth element. Many times I have heard that many people they say, just recent 2-3 days ago, I received a message on WhatsApp. It was quite relevant to today's topic. It was mentioned that after 50, people they experience memory loss. Short-term memory is affected. They feel depressed, insomnia, sleeping disorders. So one Western doctor had mentioned the reason he gave, it was somewhat close to what we say in Ayurveda, due to dryness. And he said that after 50 people, they are not conscious how much water they should drink. And they feel dehydrated, their body feels dehydrated. So when the body is dehydrated, then these kind of things happen. Because his logic was that when we drink water, it allows the oxygen to circulate in the body. And proper oxygen is received by the brain, then the memory also functions quite normal. So how many of you agree with that? We should drink enough water, particularly he said after the age of 50. Many people they forget drinking water because they don't feel thirsty, particularly in a place like Hankow. Homes are air conditioned, office, workplace is air conditioned, so we don't feel thirsty.
Especially during cold climates like winter, we normally drink less water.
Yeah, because body doesn't need.
Somehow we feel thirsty, we drink.
In summer we feel thirsty, we feel dehydrated because we sweat a lot. Our body releases so much of water element. So then body feels dehydrated. Then the need also is there. Right? But in winter we don't sweat so much. So I'm coming to the point. How many of you agree with that point? What I have said in the message. Drink more water. Sometimes people they say should drink more water. How many of you think? Just give me answer. How much of water one should drink? Can you tell me in liters because glasses size may be different?
liters, 2 liters,
2 liters, 1 liter, 3 liters. See, the answers are different, right? Why the answers are different?
Because we've been,
Different people heard from different people,
yeah, freedom.
right? Now, this also is fallacy of generalization. We cannot generalize. Many times in my seminars and workshops, I say that Ayurveda is against that kind of principle, treating horses and donkeys in a similar way. They look alike, but the qualities are different. Right? We cannot treat a horse and donkey in the same way. It's a gross example, but it's appropriate. So we need to again find out what is our body's need. And when should we drink water?
in the morning, 1 hour before food, 1 hour after food. That's what I do.
When you're thirsty. When you're thirsty.
Yesterday I went to see a doctor. He said, don't take it when you want to. So everybody I knew, like, he said, blood at one time.
How much gas? Yes, normally we should not gulp. That's the Ayurvedic principle also. One should not gulp the water. Drink slowly. But that also, you should finish 1 glass of water at a time. It's not that you take half an hour to finish 1 glass of water. Many times I have heard, see, life is a learning process, right? When I have discussion with my clients, from my clients also I learn a lot every day. What they hear from other people and then what they're practicing, how much information what they get from other sources, how much of that they incorporate in their life, and because of that, what kind of experience they have. So when I hear from them, I learn a lot from that. Now this also I heard from few clients. They heard that they read one should not drink water too much at one time, but keep on sipping throughout the day. How many of you agree with that? Yes or no? Don't feel nervous. Raise your hand properly. That means we should keep on sipping the water throughout the day. If you feel thirsty, what I said, finish the whole glass at one time in few minutes. Don't prolong it for half an hour. If you do that, if you keep on sipping the water throughout the day, you're engaging your kidneys and bladder unnecessarily. You're not allowing them to relax. And they will give up. Don't put pressure on them. Finish the whole water. Allow them to work in one time and then finish it. If you keep on continuously supplying the water step by step, bladder and kidneys, they don't have any time to relax. So don't do that.
According to me, I think you should drink early morning warm water with a piece of lime. It will help you a lot. 2 glasses are enough. My stool is regular for 50 years. I've never had problem. And I'm very regular. My urine is clear. And I drink water, but 1 hour before food, 1 hour after food. I never take in between. If I'm thirsty, I'll drink. I'll take some juices of some green vegetable, which helps also for your skin, for your health. So I feel body is made of 70% water.
Thank you for sharing. Yes, it's the right thing to do it. First thing in the morning when you wake up,
Alkaline your body.
you drink at least half a liter of water to flush out the toxic matter. Of course, there are different ways, Just one thing, simple principle. How to drink water. Never ever drink water in the standing position. You will invite pain for your knees. It is said in Ayurveda if somebody has knee problem, and that person is taking any treatment, over medicines, health supplements, and all that, calcium supplements to strengthen the knees. But that person has a habit of drinking water in the standing position. No treatment will work. No treatment. Waste of time and waste of money in the sitting position. Have you heard that before?
Yeah.
What is the logic? Water should be drank in the sitting position. Milk, hot milk should be drank in the standing position.
What's the logic? See, from this also you can understand how wonderful, how sublime, how deep our Ayurvedic science is, ancient science. The reason is given. It's not because it is mentioned in Ayurveda, we should do it. We need to understand the logic behind it. For any matter, when we understand the logic behind it, it is more convincing. Then we can do it more diligently, with full conviction. Otherwise, we do it for some time and we give up. What's the logic behind it? Water in the sitting position, hot milk in the standing position. When we drink water, what is like a full room temperature matter, right? When we drink it in the standing position, it pushes the air element down, particularly the air which is below the navel in the lower abdomen, which is called apana vayu. So that rushes down, goes down, and it gets quite trapped. Circulation gets disturbed around the joints, mainly around the knees, because it rushes down due to the gravity force of the earth. So the water we should drink, and that also not on the chair, sitting on the chair, preferably sitting on the floor, if it is possible. Or if you want to sit on the chair, try to sit in the cross-legged pose when you drink water. Then you will not have problem with this. And milk, hot milk, when we drink in the standing position, same concept. Due to the gravity force of the earth, it will go down, but it will regulate the air circulation. It will not cause the air to get trapped around the knees. It will allow the air to circulate because of its alkaline effect and because of its hot effect. So milk, hot milk should be drank in the standing position.
Yes, sure.
No problem. So see, these are very simple things, in our day-to-day life, our eating habits, our lifestyle. When we learn these things, how to live a life, many of the problems can be resolved. So today we are going to focus more on the nervous system. Coming back to this. So basic thing is, when we learn that we need to allow the air to circulate properly. So the basic thing we need to do, supply the food items which contain more strong earth elements. Now this also we need to understand, when we eat food items which are strong earth element, they are not easy to digest. Roots particularly. Yam, taro, sweet potatoes, lotus roots, beetroot, not easy to digest. Now we need to supply to the body, but then they cannot be digested so easily. So what should we do? Sorry? See, according to the need of the body, we need to supply. We need to eat. Solution is given in Ayurveda. Add some fire element to it, which can speed up the digestion. For digestion, we need strong fire. Right? So when we supply the fire element with the earth element, then that earth element will be digested very easily. Now, for example, black pepper powder or white pepper powder, ginger, cinnamon powder, nutmeg powder, sage powder. So these kind of powders we can add. Chili. Chili is not Ayurvedic. Chili is not Ayurvedic, but you can use it. It has green chilies you can use, but not too much, because they can cause. See, we need to strengthen the fire element, not aggravate. When we aggravate that fire element, it can be harmful. It will cause acidity. So we need to strengthen it, and strengthening can easily be done by white pepper or black pepper or ginger, cinnamon powder. Any question here?
Nowadays, we have a family cold milk. Not cold,
As I mentioned, that see, in young age they may not feel the side effect so fast, but when they advance, when they go beyond 35, 40, then they will see the effect. They get effect. Because what happens in young age, the fire element is really strong. So when the fire element is strong, it helps us to resist the consequences of our wrong habits. Many times you may hear that, people may say that last couple of years, I'm feeling that before that I was fine. all of a sudden I'm seeing so many problems are happening. So when the fire element's effect starts reducing, the problems will start manifesting more and more. So fire element allows, it helps us to restrict the effect, resist the effect of those wrong habits. But once the effect of fire element is gone, boom, so many problems at one time. Have you heard many people they say that? I was fine, for last year, 1 year, 2 years, but all of a sudden so many problems are coming, manifesting. So in the fire element diminishes, then the problems start. So wrong habits, if they are not showing any wrong effect, that doesn't mean the wrong effect is not happening. It is accumulating there. And once the fire element's effect is gone, then they will show. So that also, is a misconception people they have. I'm doing it, I'm fine, not a problem. So problems, yes, when they start coming, when the fire element reduces, then so many problems come at the same time. So coming back to this, so to increase the earth element, we need to eat fruits. To digest these fruits faster, we need to add a little bit of fire element. Correct? Now, simple exercise I also want to share with you. With regard to the herbs, before I come to the exercise part, have you heard of ashwagandha, winter cherry, Vithania somnifera? Yeah, some of you have heard about it. Actually, it is called as a Indian ginseng. In Ayurveda, it is called as a national herb for India. Like in China, they are ginseng. In Korea, they are ginseng. In India, we have ashwagandha. The unique feature of ashwagandha is it stimulates our nervous system if it is needed, and if it is not needed, it will calm down the nervous system. That's a unique feature of our ashwagandha. How many of you have taken that ashwagandha before? Powder or what form? Capsules. Capsules contain the powder inside. Now, something very interesting I would like to share with you. We talked about the main part of the central nervous system is our brain and the spinal cord. Now, to improve the functioning of the brain and intellect, the brain starts with B, right? Letter B. So three things it start with letter B. If we incorporate in our day-to-day life, our brain can function quite well. From the yogic perspective, Vastrika Pranayama. How many of you have heard that? Vastrika? Can you show? If you don't mind. That is Brahmari. No, that is Ujjayi. The first one you saw, that is Brahmari Pranayama. The second one, when you make the sound from the throat, that is Ujjayi Pranayama. Vastrika Pranayama is through the nose, vigorous breathing through the nose. And it has direct effect on the brain. If you don't mind, I would invite all of you to stand and do it with me and see what kind of effect you have. Yeah, of course. Those who are wearing masks, please remove the mask so that the breathing can be easier. The exercise is the starting posture, keeping your feet together. Keep your feet together. Your feet flat together, arms on the sides, arms facing in, your back straight. Now, when you stand like this, straight like this, keep your feet together. How many of you feel that your body is swaying? When you stand like this, keeping your feet together. You feel that? You stand for a few seconds or a couple of minutes, you see your body is not straight. Why does it happen? Imbalance of what? Yeah, again, for this also, people will come with different water level. Because we don't know how to stand straight.
So simple.
So simple, very simple. This basic thing, we don't know how to do it. When we stand straight, our focus should be in the middle part of the feet. When our focus goes on the front part or the back, on the toes or the heels, then our body becomes unstable. But when you focus on the middle part of the feet, stand straight, and the spine should be stretched upwards towards the ceiling, keeping our back straight. So when we learn this technique, simple technique, we can remain straight. If you want to learn more about yoga, very simple technique, namaskar pose, doing like this. Now this you can experiment since we are talking about keeping our body posture straight, not standing straight. The base of the thumbs, palms together, fingers, thumbs together. Base of the thumb should touch the middle part of the chest, the heart chakra. Right? The position of the hand should be such the tips of your thumbs could go up to the cavity of the throat. So just to measure, you do like this, then you bring your thumbs, fingers all together. Stand straight, your shoulders relax, elbows relax, your chin parallel to the floor. Now close your eyes. You keep on putting very firm, not too much pressure, but very firm pressure on the chest. Keeping your eyes closed, just focus on your breathing. Constant pressure on the chest from the base of your thumbs. Stand in this position, and you observe what you feel, what you notice. Sorry. Yes. You can open your eyes. This simple exercise, if you do it regularly, you will see that not only your posture will be straight, your thinking also will be very straight. Your willpower will become very strong. Your confidence level will be very strong. Do it for 5 minutes to feel the effect. Do it for 5 minutes. You will see that initially, when your eyes are closed, you still feel that your body is swaying sideways, back and forth. But slowly, you remain still. Do not move at all. Simple technique. Namaskar pose.
Is it at any time of the day?
Anytime. Now to see how much effect it has on our subconscious mind. You do it at night before you go to bed. Do it at night before you go to bed for 5 minutes. And just think in your mind what time you need to get up in the morning. Repeat that time 3 times. 3 times in your mind. You will be surprised to see that in the morning, without alarm, your eyes will open. As though somebody is waking you up from it. Get up. It's time to get up. Experiment that. Tonight. You'll be surprised to that. I come across sometimes some university students, sometimes some people who are looking for a job, going for the interview, want to go for interview. I tell them, before going for exams, you do this. And before going for an interview, you do this. You will not be nervous. The people interviewing you, they will feel nervous. Simple technique. You can increase so much of confidence. You will forward. The reason why, see the logic behind it. Why that kind of effect this simple technique has on our mind and body. And we talked about 72,000 nadis. One of the nadi, which is called Manovaha nadi, which controls the flow of our mind. So normally these nadis, they flow downwards. All the nadis, they flow downwards. So when we put the pressure on the chest, which the nadi is the Manovaha nadi, it controls the functioning of the mind. It is going downwards in the middle of this. So when we check the downward flow of that energy going through that nadi, when we check that, the whole energy is conserved here. In our body. So much of energy is conserved by this simple technique. Now see these, when you start practicing these simple things, you will see positive improvement happening in your life. And then, in the long run, you see that so many health problems can prevent these kind of simple techniques. So, for neurological problems,
This technique is very unique, very effective. People who have neurological problems, they feel depressed, emotionally disturbed, very fluctuation, extreme fluctuation in the emotion at the mental level, that can be corrected very easily. So now, to improve the functioning of the brain, I was telling you, this Bastrika pranayama, keeping the arms on the sides, palms facing it, feet together. Bend your neck completely backwards. As much as you can. Keep your eyes closed, keep your back straight. You need to bend your neck only, not your back. The back should be straight. Eyes closed. Now start vigorous breathing through your nose. Deep breathing in and complete breathing out. I would suggest those who are wearing masks, please remove the mask. It will make it easier for you to breathe in and out. Vigorous breathing. Inhale forcefully and exhale completely. And then increase the speed of your breathing. 25 to 30 deep breaths. Affecting your lungs and chest, not so much of your abdomen. Chest. Of course, a little bit of effect will be there on the diaphragm because of the breathing, but focus should be on the lungs, on the chest. Your neck should be completely bent. It will take some time for you to get used to it. Come to the same position. Come to the same. Some of you did it for 10 to 15 times. What is your experience? What did you notice? Sorry? Clearing? You felt dizzy, right? How many of you felt dizzy? And how many of you didn't feel dizzy?
Dizzy means I was feeling my balance.
Yes. So some of you didn't feel dizzy. Those who didn't feel dizzy, can you raise your hands? Now, those who didn't feel dizzy, it seems they did not do it correctly. See, it is very natural to feel dizzy if you're doing this first time, because so much of oxygen you're supplying to the brain with force, which your brain is not used to. So it's natural to feel dizzy. Natural. Provided you do it correctly. And once you start doing it regularly, your brain gets used to tolerating that much force, then you won't feel it. Initially, yes, you'll feel it. Yes?
This helps. It's very good because last year in October 1st week, I got vertigo. It was horrible. Just 3 weeks it took me to come out of the vertigo.
This kind of vertigo problem, it is also a vertigo problem. This posture and this breathing, if it is done, that can be corrected. These two simple techniques. Of course, when you incorporate the diet also according to that, it can be quite effective, the speedy recovery. But these two techniques from yoga can be very helpful for vertigo problem, for dizziness, ringing in the ears. Many people have that. Right? Ringing in the ears. So these kind of problems can be corrected.
Terrible.
Yes. I decline. Now please sit down. Punishment is over.
Who cannot practice this? Are there some people who cannot practice this, like heart patients or something?
Yes. See now, for a good question, Vinod asked. People who have some issues with the heart or BP, high blood pressure, and all that. It's not that they should not do it. They can do it slowly, not vigorously, but slowly. What can be done? And another thing, what they can do to prevent the bad effect due to their health conditions. Normally, it doesn't have any bad effect, but due to their health conditions, some bad effects they are concerned about. Half an hour or 45 minutes before, drink a glass of warm water, adding a little bit of rock sugar. Or room temperature water, adding a tablespoon of honey. So that can help. Then the water will not go.
Some rock sugar you can use gathering.
Yes, you can. Actually, in summer it is better to use rock sugar. In winter you can use jaggery. Yes, plenty. Supermarket. They call it rock sugar. Yellow lump. So, what I was saying that these kind of techniques, when we start incorporating, so many of problems we can not only correct but prevent from happening. When we talk about yoga, you said that you do yoga, right? You used to do yoga. How long ago? Simple things to be remembered when you do yoga. How to start a posture? How long posture should be maintained for? Or some postures, exercise such, they should not be maintained for a long time, but they should be repeated. Release and repeat, release and repeat. And then finally, how to release the posture. So these three things are very, very important. Sometimes when people they make mistake by releasing the posture, then they can get conflict. But releasing the posture. So when it is released in the wrong way, then it can have harmful effect. So coming back to this point, I was telling you about the 3 B's for brain. In Ayurveda, we say buddhi. For buddhi, 3 things, starting with B also. One is Vastrika Pranayama. We did. Second is Dhami. Have you heard of Dhami? Same like Ashwagandha is a herb. It's very good for the brain. Very good for memory. And third is Badam. Badam is almonds. Almonds are very good for brain. And very good for eyesight. Most of you might have eaten almonds, right, in your life? Can you share with me how do you eat almonds? Yeah, it may sound a very silly question.
Soak it in the water at night. And in the morning, I just take a spoon of honey.
Soak at night in water, then eat in the morning. How do you eat it? I asked you, how do you eat it?
Use honey, 1 spoon of honey. I just do it.
Chew it. Many of us we do that. Chewing almonds.
Strong feet.
Sorry.
Strong feet.
No, whether you have strong teeth or not, that's the second
That's
thing.
wrong.
But the process itself, the way of eating itself is wrong. Almonds, the best way of eating to maximize the benefits of it, you rub it on a stone, make a paste of it, cream, and that cream you mix with honey and little black pepper, you lick it. It will get absorbed very fast. Otherwise, when you chew, the almonds will be broken in small particles. Cannot be done.
Make a paste. And then add black pepper and honey.
So, in that kind of way, if you eat almonds, 3-4 almonds are enough. No need to take 10-20 almonds.
Morning.
Morning or any time?
Morning is the best. Yes, before breakfast.
How to make paste for this?
We get stoned, like we make the sandalwood paste, chandan paste.
Right.
So that way you rub it on the stone, you get the cream from that. Keep on putting some water. If you pound, then you have to make very fine paste by pounding. Otherwise, nowadays, in Hankow, we are fortunate you can get almond butter or almond cream also. In Central, I don't remember very exactly the shop, but I found it. Almond cream, very fine cream, very fine paste. So 1 teaspoon of that paste is very good. No, it's natural. It's from the health store. Very natural.
No, it's going to be available.
Going to be available. Very good. Not the same effect. No, not the same effect. See, this is the reason, when we talk about, earlier I was joking with this gentleman, because Vata disorder can happen very easily when we consume nuts. And Vata disorder, because, it affects our rationale, our reasoning power, our memory, our functioning of the brain. And that's why it is said people who consume too many nuts, they become nuts. So you're very fortunate. You're very fortunate. Any kind of nuts.
I only eat almonds.
Any kind of nuts.
7 almonds with honey, that's it.
Yeah, so the way, see, sometimes the food item may be good, may be appropriate. But if the way we consume it or the time we consume it is not right, in that case it's not the same.
If now the child will be trained, eat almonds, eat walnuts, but they never told any right way.
Yes. So that's why I'm sharing with you. So the food item may be right, the way has to be right, how we consume it, and the timing also is very important. Now with timing, I would like to share with you for Vata particularly, because it affects our nervous system very badly. Many of you might have heard people, they say that, we should consume very light food at night. Our dinner should be very light. That's very true. But light means how? What kind of food items? Because I have many Western clients, they say they are used to having some salad. They feel salad is very light. And then, from the conversation, after checking your pulse, I find out that, and then they may have some sleeping disorder. They say, yeah, but I wonder, why you don't eat salad at night? Still, my sleep is disturbed. But then, because you're eating salad, that's why your sleep is disturbed. Right? We are talking about dinner, what we should have for dinner. So salad, why it happens now? Salad, of course, it is light, but because the vegetables are not cooked, so fire element is not there. So then our body has to use more fire element to digest it. So when our digestive system is engaged, when we are trying to fall asleep, our mind cannot be relaxed because system is working. Right? Our digestive system is working.
I eat salad every day almost, and I sleep also nicely. Only occasionally.
At night?
At night.
So you are very unique.
But
I'm
what,
on that also and unique also.
no, but what time do you eat? What time do you finish your dinner?
I finish my dinner by 7:30, sometimes 8. And by
What
10
time do you go to
o'clock,
bed?
I'm inside in the bed.
What time?
But 10 o'clock, I go when I sit for my meditation, and when I fall asleep, I go to sleep. Otherwise, I keep doing it. My life is very simple, to tell you honestly.
Good.
So
It has to be
that's what
simple.
I do.
We make it complicated.
Yes, we make it.
Life has to be simple.
4 o'clock, 5 o'clock.
We create the complexities, complications in our life, and we try to resolve it. We waste so much of energy in resolving the complications. We can avoid complications in the first place. Life has to be simple. So, jokes aside, as I said, you're a very unique person. Now you're having, he said that he has his dinner around 7:30. So you have enough time. Give me enough time for your digestive system to digest. You go to bed by 10 o'clock. Many people, they have dinner very late at night. After 1 hour or so, they go to bed. So
10
then,
o'clock, I never sleep. If I sleep 10 o'clock, I get up at 2:30, 3 o'clock. And I have to sit for my meditation. Okay. If I get up late, then it's good. At least 4 or 5 o'clock.
next time you call him for giving a speech.
Please, I've come here to listen. I'm a good listener.
I'm listening to you also.
Thank you.
So what I was saying that, the reason why salad normally affects our sleep in a negative way, because normally this salad leaves. When the fire element, more fire element is required to digest, digestive system is engaged in doing some work. That also disturbs the mind. The second thing is because the salad normally releases so much of water, right? They're fresh leaves, they release so much of water. Right? So when so much of water, more than required, is supplied because of the leaves in the stomach, it will disturb the air circulation. When the air circulation is disturbed, air directly has effect. Air actually is the link between our body and mind. So mind is immediately affected by the subconscious mind. The body becomes restless. Mind becomes restless. Cannot sleep. And then that problem, keeps on accumulating. And if it is not addressed, then many serious problems can happen. The problems related to the nervous system, anxiety, depression, irritation, getting angry unnecessarily, without any appropriate reason. Lack of sleep causes this. Because when there is not enough sleep, our nervous system becomes weak. Yes, to allow the air to become normal, circulate in the normal way, our body has to have enough rest at night. If our body doesn't get enough rest, then the air becomes imbalanced. when we don't get proper sleep at night, next day we cannot function very well. We feel cranky.
No, it's true, but sometimes when you tend to sleep in the afternoon to cover it up for an hour, then you're relaxed. So is it all right to sleep in the afternoon?
Now that
And I'm
also,
retired, you know. from
yeah, see that
business.
also, yes, it is important and it is beneficial also to have a nap in the afternoon, not sleep. 1 hour is too long.
No. Oh, 1 hour is too long.
Yes. It is not, not saying it may work for you, but it will not for everybody.
No. How long is it?
15 minutes.
15 minutes only.
Have a nap.
Because it's a nap. We are talking a nap, not sleep.
So that's like
Because I've come across people who sleep even for half an hour, 45 minutes, 1 hour. They feel very lethargic after that. Very lethargic. So again, I say that it may work for you, but not for everybody. So, based on this today's discussion, my humble request to you would be don't solicit
No,
your advice. It is working for me, please do that. Sleep for 1 hour.
I never solicit. My ideas. Honestly, I listen more than I solicit.
That's good. That's good.
Thank you.
So this is also shows that the nuts are working for you. So coming back to the salad part. So see, the thing is that if we want to have the grounding effect, so that our quality of sleep is good, we need to have earth element or cooked food. When the food is cooked, fire element is supplied to the food. Then there is not so much of pressure on the unnecessary pressure on the digestive system. Then we can have very good sleep. Now, other thing, very simple thing. You can participate in this. At night, particularly, to strengthen the nervous system. This you can do by lying down in your bed. Interlock your fingers. Interlock your fingers on the back of your fingers. You put pressure with your fingers. You should feel the pressure on the back of your palms, back of your hands. Now you need to be very mindful. See, when you do these simple things, you should focus what you're doing. Right? You can observe what I'm doing and try to do it the same way. See, this shows that, sorry to say that, many of you are not focusing what you're doing.
they might watch TV, see the computer, they're doing this thing.
See, when you are doing something, when you focus on that particular activity, the results can be more. Otherwise, your energy is scattered. When you're watching something and you're doing something, so you will not get the maximum benefit what you should be getting. Of course, I'm not saying that you won't get any benefit, but not as much as you should get.
But usually people do that.
Yes, that's the reason people they don't get benefit from it. So what I said, that you're not focusing what I was doing. Some of you are doing like this. Some of you are doing like this. No, don't focus on your elbows or wrist. Only knuckles. Only knuckles. See, my wrist and elbows are not moving. Right? When you do that, you will feel the pressure on the back of your hands. Just only knuckles. My fingers are moving. Not my wrists, not my elbows. When you do this, there is a kind of a net here on the back of the hands, which has direct connection. The points are connected with our spine and nervous system. So when we do this, the energy flow towards nervous system is more regular, more consistent, and the nervous system will become strong. You might have noticed that when you are really tired, very tired, before going to bed, you may think that you can sleep well. But when you're too tired, you cannot sleep well. Right? Why does it happen like that? You're very tired. You should fall asleep. Why?
Because the mind is too active.
But you're tired.
I mean, it's too active. The mind doesn't allow you to
How
sleep.
can you say that your mind is tired and active at the same time?
No, even if- how it gets tired? Because you're active whole day.
But at the time when you're going to bed, you're tired. So at that time, you should fall asleep.
I don't know, I get good sleep. My wife has this problem. That's why I asked you.
I'm surprised that your wife is a problem. You are in her life. How can she have a problem?
She has no problem with me.
See, Ayurveda teaches us
So
to.
this is the age.
Ayurveda teaches us to find the root cause of the problem. Ayurveda teaches us to find the root cause of the problem. So now you find the root cause of the problem.
Yeah.
So you have the solution now. You have to find the solution. I shared with you the root cause of the problem. Jokes aside, why can't we fall asleep when we are really tired? Because when we want to fall asleep, now this is very subtle. We are sending message to our whole system. We want to fall asleep. Now for sending this message, a bit of activeness has to be there. Are you getting what I'm saying? We don't have that also to send a message to our system. We are too tired even to send that message to our system. That we want to fall asleep. Best way when we are really tired, able to fall asleep is that relax and speak to yourself. I want to fall asleep. Mindful. Be mindful. When this simple thing we do, have you heard of Shavasana? Yoga? Relaxing pose, off pose. Normally after each session of yoga, that is the Shavasana. Relax. The posture looks very simple. Very simple. Right?
It is like
Like a corpse, like a dead body.
just lie down. All up.
Not just lie down. Lie down like a dead body.
Yeah, but all up.
Did you fall asleep?
Okay.
Don't think of that.
So when we do that, when we make conscious effort, we send that message. See, we have intelligence, overall intelligence. Okay. That was to make decisions. Then there is intelligence at each system level. Digestive system is its own intelligence. Heart has its own intelligence. And then even at minute cell level also there is intelligence. So when there is proper coordination between our overall intelligence and the intelligence working at the different system level and at the minute cell level, then our system can be quite balanced. But we don't have that. We have created so many barriers within our own self. So that's why, what our mind thinks, what we want to do, our body doesn't cooperate. Because there is no link established. The motor organs don't follow what the brain is. Yes.
All the various of it.
Sorry?
All the various of it.
Barriers are built by our own self.
Our own.
See, whenever we get disconnected from our own self, then the barriers start building up.
We are the cause.
We are the cause, nobody else. We can blame so many people around us. It can make us feel happy, but that's not the solution. It's easy to blame somebody else. To share off the responsibility. Very easy. But when we start taking responsibility, then we are the solution. So we are the main cause of our own problems, nobody else. So you can tell your wife, you are not the cause of a problem. Then there's a problem. Then there's a
My finger is. He listens to others.
Still, everyone has the same problem.
I want to get out of make my life peaceful.
See, from this you can understand what is a very, very interesting, very, very appropriate thing. Everybody has the same problem. Everybody has the same problem.
You are the only one.
I saw here the people like yes, everybody has this problem.
Yes. Ask me.
Okay, let's continue.
But what do you say? Why don't they teach us in the beginning when you are child in the first and the third standard? They should teach us these things.
Yeah, see, this is the problem because we were not taught on diet. But this again, it is never too late. Never too late. Whatever time we have, whatever stage in our life, if we are able to learn something, you know, no need to regret what didn't happen. Just focus on what is happening now. If that can help you, why not? Right? Sorry? Very true. Very true. Before, in the ancient India, that was the system, Gurukul system. These things were taught. But then invasion happened. I don't want to go in the history. Then these things were lost. But again, as I said, it's never too late. If we can help what we learn, it is said that we used to have a brochure, a company's brochure long time ago. In that we have this saying, proverb. Ignorance does not have any beginning, but it has an end. Knowledge has a beginning, but there is no end. Right? So, in whatever stage of life we are, life is a learning process. If we learn something new, just apply. If it can be helpful, why not? So, what I was going to say to conclude this part, actually, I was planning to show some other posters. Maybe we can continue in the second part of this today's topic, because other posters also I have in mind to show, which can be very simple and very effective. So, what I was saying that coming back to the today's topic, this exercise, I wanted to share with you some time ago one. She has sleeping disorder. She used to take sleeping pills. But then doctor told her to keep on increasing the dosage. Asked her to do this. He told me that when she did that in the evening, in the morning her heads were like very relaxing. Again, I would say that I give you example of ashwagandha. It has stimulating effect on the nervous system if it is needed, and it has calming effect also. Both ways it works. So this exercise also, by regulating the energy flow to the nervous system, it can activate the nervous system. And when the nervous system is to be relaxed, like when we are really tired, we're talking about it. We are really tired to come out for it. Just do like this. Then you feel a little calm. The nervous system. You're talking about nerves or nadis? Nerves, I'm not sure. I'm not sure so much about the medical science, but I'm talking about from Ayurvedic perspective. I give you the precise number: 7,272,410. Sorry,
300 billion, 60 billion. Yeah.
Okay.
Go around the world.
So you can encircle the whole globe. So this nerves is a more gross part of the body. It's physical. When we talk about nadis, they're very subtle, very very subtle. In subtle nadis, they have more impact on the physical gross nerves. So when you regulate the functioning of the nervous system, the nadis, then the nerves also can function very well. Like when we talk about subtle and gross aspect of our system, subtle aspect of our system has more effect on the gross aspect. Like mind also, conscious mind and subconscious mind. Subconscious mind has more effect on our activities than the conscious mind. When we are conscious also, like many of you sitting here today, now in this moment. So physically you're present here, but your subconscious mind will tell you. Like earlier you said, mind is all around. When I asked a question, where is our mind? He said, mind is all around, going all around. The subconscious mind. So it has more control on our thought process and on our physical activity than the conscious mind. So subtle aspect, when you take care of the subtle aspect of the system, in the gross aspect also will work. Now, why the blockage in the nerves or arteries, you can say, why does it happen? What causes the blockage? The cause of the blockage at the physical gross level is if there is some blockage at the subtle. So when you clear the blockage at the subtle level, either emotional level or whatever level, then the blockage at the gross level also can be cleared. The problem with the modern methodology is that they try to only focus at the gross level. Okay, there is a blockage. Just try to do that, remove the blockage. Like practical example nowadays, very common. So they go for putting some stents in the arteries. Does it work? I'm just asking in general. If you're familiar with the concept. Sorry?
Just 1 month back.
Is it a permanent solution?
No, it's not a problem.
See, when you put the stent in one artery, after some time you can put in the other artery. It's not a permanent solution. What can be the permanent solution? Sorry? The permanent solution is you don't have the blockage. Remove the blockage itself. Right? Many of us, try to understand. Just few minutes. I would like to share with you. It's very simple. All these blockages, no offense to anyone here, experiencing this kind of thing. No offense to anybody. These kind of blockages happen at the gross level within our concept. As I said, because we have blockages at the subtle level. Why? Why the blockage at the subtle level? Because most of us are not honest with their concept. Right? We don't act in the true manner according to our constitutional behavior. We depend a lot. Depending on the situation, depending on people we are interacting. So most of us, if not all of us, most of us, including me, including myself, we are hypocrites. We are not honest. So when we have this kind of duplicity, okay, the system also it cannot work in the natural way that it should be functioning. It forgets the natural way of functioning. Arteries should not be blocked. The flow should be continuous there. But it forgets the natural way of functioning. Does make sense what I'm saying?
You're saying you should not live in duality, but if you are inside the outside.
Generally, yes. Generally, yes. Honest means not done. Not saying that it's done. Yes. But in general, I'm saying that we are not honest.
Surrounding inside, right? The surrounding inside, person has to be.
Who causes the surroundings to be like that? We focus on correcting the environment, correcting the surroundings and all that. Charity begins at home. If we are not able to correct our own self, why should we bother correcting the other person? We can correct, that is in our control. We cannot control the other person. We cannot correct the other person. So what is in our control? We should do that. And each individual starts thinking and acting according to that. Whole society can become very. This is whatever I'm sharing with you. It's a very simple thing. All these things given in Ayurveda. That's why it's called science of life. So at individual level, when we start correcting our habits, our thinking process and all that, those kind of vibrations will start sending. And then it will reflect. Right? What we say in English, what goes around comes around. Right? Our whole body is a miniature of the universe. What we see in the universe, those things are present in our body also, in the minute quantity. All these elements, universal elements, they are within our body also. Space, air, fire, water, earth, everything is in our body. So when we take the control, manage the functioning of these elements within our body, slowly you will see that elements around our body also. Yes. So I have many more things to discuss. 1.5 hours. This is not.
She has one question. Not by Palomar fibrosis. Does it? I have a
Yes. Yes.
no, so I think
That's also see. Normally, these kind of symptoms they are associated with the weak nervous system. People they are exact. Like for example, when you get a phone call, all of a sudden, when you hear something, it's not correct. Some people they don't call some of it, or they go to hospital because when the nervous system becomes affected, air element, which is the link between our body and the hospital, the air element starts affecting. In the weaker parts, they get more effective. If the bowels are weaker, person will have diarrhea. If the bladder is weaker, kidneys are weaker, then person will fall with like hospital. Before that, person was fine. When that hurt. So yes, these kind of problems happen because of the weak nervous system.
so is there a solution at the
Of course. Not common cause.
sweaty hands, wet hands. Hands are always
Palms
sweaty.
become wet, very easy to sweat, and sometimes feet also. That way.
Many people have. He's here.
Not here, here.
Here is here.
So okay, wait. So
Tomorrow,
Very difficult for me to endorse on
not
some particular thing. There are so many the social media also website. There are so many websites. Any Ayurvedic centers.
So if you guys want any sort of personal consultations with Dr. Vinod, you can always contact him. So you can make an appointment with him.
Yes.
So basically, he can check your pulse and he can tell you exactly what's your constitution, what you should be eating, what you should not be eating, what's your personality type, where the imbalances are. So you can always book your consultations. And of course, we will keep having ongoing workshops like that.
you provide medication.
I don't dispense medicines. I give the names, but some products are available here. Like Ashwagandha, I said, Ashwagandha is available. Nami also is available. So,
And another thing we definitely want to suggest is when he's suggesting ashwagandha, brahmi, and all that. So Naveda has actually set up this center to make sure that you are getting therapeutic quality. Quality and the potency of the product is very, very important. So if you go and purchase ashwagandha or anything from anywhere else, the potency might not be as great. The toxicity level there might be that. So we guarantee that we have audited quality control and everything, and we've got it. So that is one of the most unique points of Naveda. We keep everything safe, non-toxic, and audited.
it is very important that the product quality has to be there. Otherwise, if it is not effective, then people say that, oh, it doesn't work. Then the whole science gets affected. And unfortunately, it has happened in India because of commercialization. So they focus on the quantity of the product, but they don't have quality control.
When we go to the doctor or anyone, we want instant result. So after 3-4 days, we just in help. I mean, how can we possible? Within 3 or 4 days, we can make it.
Again, see, in acute cases, the remedy which you take, then the result can be quite fast. But if any problem is chronic, chronic the problem has been developing and it has stayed in the personal system for a very long time. Now to remove that takes time. Chronic problems cannot be resolved quickly. Acute problems can be resolved. So for example, if somebody just experiencing headache, so something can be given to relieve the headache. But if some problem is happening for a long time, then the person has to be patient to deal with it for a longer time so that it can be removed from.
You have seen many friends, they always But again, they
Yeah, see, nowadays, because people, they have this habit also. One is that they don't have so much patience. Other thing that, they don't have faith also. So first, have to have faith. If I'm going to follow this and follow from within. See, for example, in Ayurveda, we use water and rock. Rock is hard, right? Water is so soft, liquid. But if water, drop by drop, falls on the rock continuously, to make whole. Consistency has to be there. Correct? So any habit, that's why sometimes people they come, they say that I tell them, whatever you do it for some time, give some time so that your body can think the effect. It's not that I'm telling you that you come only to me. Wherever you go, just follow that person for some time. And then you see whether it works or not. Right?
Thank you so much. It was my pleasure to hear you out and make an opportunity to give a career next time I solve my focus problem. I need more focus, concentration. My mind sometimes runs here and there, minds are there. Otherwise, I'm with God's grace.
how old are you, sir?
7.
Yeah.
Thank you all of you.
Take care, doctor.
Nice coming here.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you for being attentive. And please forgive me if I offended anybody by saying something.
No, please don't say that. You didn't offend me at all.
I'm not asking, you are standing behind me, I'm asking them.
Oh, they kept mentioning about nuts and all that.
It was nice having you. It made it more jolly, more entertaining.
Just one word. You said 3 B's. One word, Bhasa. The other 2 words.
Rami. And Vastrika. Vastrika Pranayama. I'm not sure. I will ask the winner. Of course. See, this is Vata disorder. When you correct the Vata, without medicine, I come across this is the what they call it. What attention deficit. So at that age, the Vata goes off the balance. It's a very common. So when you correct the Vata imbalance, the person will become. Yes, you can book the appointment. You can fix the water. Yes, of course. I will check his possible.
Thank you very much. Very informative. And I learned a lot of things. I was doing many things wrong. Now I'll try to do better. Thank you. Okay, thanks.
I'll take some biscuits here.
I think it is onion. Yeah, it is onion.
Yeah, eat something.
What's your name? David. Yes.
Sugandha is too good. You just explained to you ashwagandha and brownie. You have our information. Why don't you give me your contact?
Thank you for coming. It's without any. After the eclipse. Program is after the eclipse. Because eclipse is afternoon.
This one, you want it for sleep or what?
Afternoon is cold.
Basically, one
During the eclipse time, it is cold.
one is for sleep and relaxation, and I want to. I can ask him.
Yeah, we don't follow.
He's saying how many things?
One capsule, morning, one capsule. Yes. Morning. That is two. You can stop eating solid most of the time. But liquids you can have. And then during the main liquid time, stop completely. Correct. Correct. After the liquid shower.
Having a
Yeah.
that's right.
Actually,
Lifestyle of the business.
You don't live there.
Well, this is where I live, so. We just started this in October.
So you
How did you find it?
We have been partners, yes. In fact, this center has already got awarded an integral wellness section concept, but we make sure that taking care of environment and taking care of social security.
See, from that perspective, anything in excess can be harmful. We need to find out how much quantity our body needs. Even the things which are very good, but if we take in excess, they can be.
How about
Almond milk, in general, at once can take about 50 ml. Not too much.
maximum how many pieces?
If you take in that way,
Yeah.
maximum 5. Yeah.
So what should we do?
Food is the best.
Easy. I find that doesn't matter black and white.
I think in Hong Kong, white pepper is more
fine.
more use.
You could drink to
Black is stronger.
Yeah, I
like
like
water.
Yeah, we
But then the quantity of black pepper will be less than the white.
chili,
It's okay.
little bit, it's so
Yeah, it's okay. But somebody raised that point, after that there is no mention of chilies in Ayurveda. Chilies were brought to India by Portuguese in the 15th century.
That masala is okay. It's not
Fish masala.
as long as it's not too spicy, right?
Now see that the spices also, all spices are not hot. This also is misconception people have. All spices are not hot. Fennel, cumin, coriander seeds, very cooling. Very cooling. Cardamom seeds, very cooling.
Thank you, okay. Do you open on Sunday? Just on Sunday.
Mondays to Saturday. Saturday and to 7.
11 to.
So you can make appointments if you want to book an appointment.
Thank you very much. Board being over here. Oh, yeah. Okay, thank you so much again.
What do you feel?
Very interactive. Like they say. No, you don't know. People want to learn more. Again, everything happens because there are so many people trying to so many issues.
Yes.
How they eat it, who go they're eating it. Again, getting the consequences. How do you eat it? It doesn't cause problems. But it's not an easy thing. I mean, it's like once you kind of know your body, constitution, then it's like you have to learn which food is the third type, which food is, third type. So it's not like everybody's. Ultimate Ayurveda is simple. Like someone is saying, how do you make someone understand simple and with life relation?
This is the reason I brought up this point. You do not know about the problem. Just try to learn how to balance the air. When that part is gone, then many of the other problems can be solved. Because we cannot imagine functioning of the other elements without the air. So once we learn how to balance, how to regulate the air circulation in the body, then many other problems. And the aggregate with also can be corrected. The accumulation of kapha also. So main culprit is water. Once we learn how to manage that,
Spoke about the they some people it does. Some people it does.
that